What's going on, everybody? So, I usually don't like doing videos like this because my channel is all about reactions and video games and movies, stuff that makes you excited and happy. And I usually don't like report. That's why I usually don't like getting into the stuff like politics and Jada Pinkett Smith and all that type of stuff because it's kind of like stupid and stuff like. But sometimes I feel like I have to do videos because I want to give y'all my opinions on the things. So, with that being said, as you saw the title, Jonathan Majors found guilty. And this was not where I thought this was going to go. Because the way leading up into this was going to be a slam dunk. They had all the evidence to prove that Jonathan Majors is innocent. But he was found guilty. So, we're going to read this article that's coming by the way of Hollywood Reporter, and I'm going to give you my reactions to it and how I feel about this situation, because it's kind of sombering because he was a rising star. Right off the bat, I feel horrible for this guy because this was like a false accusation that's now damaging him because of the stuff that's happening. And let me just hit this with you. I'll talk more about this later, but it's already, after this, it's already been reported that Marvel has fired them. So, but like I said, we're going to get to this article, and like I said, this is by Hollywood Reporter, or the Hollywood Reporter. Jonathan Majors found guilty of assault and harassment. The verdict was reached Monday by a 6-person jury over 4 hours of deliberation spread across 3 days. The actor is set to be sentenced on February 6th. And that was just a headline. Okay, here we go. It says, a New York jury found Marvel star Jonathan Majors guilty of reckless assault in the third degree and guilty of harassment. The verdict was reached by a 6-person jury after roughly over 4 hours of deliberation spread across 3 days. Majors, wearing a gray suit and black dress shirt and tie, stood with his attorneys as the verdict was read, with family members and his girlfriend Megan Good behind him. Sentencing is on February 6th. The charges a misdemeanor and violation carry a sentence of up to 1 year in prison. On 2 other charges, he was found not guilty of intentional assault in the third degree and not guilty of aggravated harassment in the second degree. I will get on to that in a minute. That's how it was explained, how someone explained it to me, basically. In a statement after the verdict, the actor's attorney, Priya Shahari, said Majors looks forward to fully clearing his name, implying he may appeal. She continued, Mr. Majors is grateful to God, his family, his friends, and his fans for their love and support during these harrowing 8 months. Shortly after the verdict was read, Marvel Studios dropped the actor as Kang the Conqueror from his upcoming Marvel Cinematic films. In total, Majors faced 4 charges of assault, aggravated harassment, and harassment after he called 911 on March 25th when he said he found his ex-partner Grace Jabari unconscious in their apartment. Police arrested Major after finding apparent injuries on Jabari, including a laceration behind her ear and a bruised and fractured finger. Majors pleaded not guilty to all charges. Jabari, who took the witness stand for the first 4 days of the trial, said Majors had caused the injuries during an altercation in the car several hours before. She testified that the alleged incident occurred in a private car when she saw a text on Major's phone that read, "Oh, how I wish to be kissing you." Jabari has said she tried to snatch the phone from Majors, who then pried her finger from the phone, grabbed her arm and right hand, twisted her forearm, and struck her head to get the phone away from her. Damn. It said he struck her head. Come on, Majors. Jeez. The first three charges are misdemeanors offenses and related to alleged incidents in the car. The fourth charge of harassment, which is a violation, the most minor offense among the charges, relates to an allegation that Majors threw Jabari back into the car as she tried to exit. The defense argued that he placed her back in the car to stop her from running into traffic. That action is captured on surveillance video, which, yeah, I seen. Yeah, she almost got hit by a car, while the altercation inside the car was not captured on camera. The charges against Majors were brought by the state of New York rather than by Jabari herself. The case was a criminal trial as opposed civil, meaning the burden of proof is higher for the jury, who had to find proof of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt on each charge. The arrest already had implications of what had been the biggest year. The arrest had already had implications of what had been the biggest year in Major's career, which included starring in roles in Ant-Man in the Wasp Quantumania, Creed 3, and Loki Season 2. In the wake of his arrest, both his publicity firm, the lead company, and managers at the Management 360 dropped him, and the Disney-owned Searchlight features removed magazine Dreams from his release calendar. In a statement after the verdict, Ross Kramer, an attorney for Jabari, said they hope the guilty verdict inspires other victims of assault. "We are gratified to see justice served by today's guilty verdict," the statement read. Mrs. Jabari testified publicly and truthfully, even though reliving these traumatic events on the witness stand was obviously painful. "We are grateful to the jurors and the judge for their attention and patience, and to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office for their hard work and support." Ms. Jabari's resolve to see this case through to the end demonstrates her tremendous strength and resilience. Unfortunately, for every survivor like Ms. Jabari who comes forward to hold their abuser accountable, there are many others who believe that they cannot. We hope that her actions will inspire the other survivors to speak their truth and seek justice, Kramer's statement added. During the trial, prosecutors approached this as a case of domestic violence, while the defense repeatedly called Jabari's credibility into question and positioned it as an ex-revenge. Majors appeared in person every day of the 2-week trial with Good and family members in attendance. He did not testify during the trial and showed little emotion except for tearing up during closing arguments from his attorney, Sahari. I keep messing up her name. As he said, his fear of what happens when a black man in America calls 911 came true. As part of his defense, Sahari claimed Jabari was the aggressor in the car, pointing to the fact that Major's coat was ripped and that Jabari is seen on surveillance video running after Majors down the street after the initial alleged altercation in the car. Jabari said that she ran after him to find out who sent the text. She wanted to know, she wanted to know who sent that text so bad that you would chase this man down the street. On a side note, I don't mean to laugh, but the way how Jonathan and Majors was running in that video. And how she was running, it was like they were running, but they was like lightly jogging. It was just like he was just like, hey, 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 hey. I was just like, what the? It was that serious. Like it. My thing is, it couldn't have been that bad of what happened in the car. Not downplaying anything. I don't downplay the abuse. That is not tolerated. I don't think a man or a woman should be abusing nobody, but it couldn't have been that bad if she could still run after him. And all she didn't. She had these injuries, but she didn't care. All she wanted was to know who sent the text. Sandri further argued Jabari was uninjured after leaving the car and had gone revenge partying at a club where she brought champagne on Major's credit card while still being able to use her right hand, which she said had been injured. Jabari testified that she had sought help from the three strangers on the street after the first altercation in the car, and they then invited her to a club, which she accepted in order to seek comfort after the alleged incident. Sean implied that Jabari had injured herself later after drinking throughout the evening and then returning to their shared apartment and taking sleeping pills. Majors, who had stayed at a hotel after leaving the car, returned to the apartment in the morning and called 911 after reporting that he found Jabari unconscious. And yet he went to jail for that. Wow. In addition to the video surveillance footage, which also included footage of Jabari at the club, evidence shown to the jury by prosecutors included photos Jabari took of her bruised hand and lacerations behind her ear while back at the apartment, and body camera footage from officers when they arrived. I think this is just the rest of the stuff. Really, nothing. This is the prosecutors also introduced a series of text evidence. Yada yada yada. And one of the text measured in Jabari September 22. Jabari from seeking medical. Yeah, okay. Man, I feel bad. I really do. I feel bad for Jonathan Majors because, like, okay, let's get into this before I get off track. So the way how it was explained to me, his charges was basically everything, like as they said in the article, everything was unintentional. They charged him with the lowest. To charge him with something, they only could agree on the lowest charges possible. So they said he would. So what the prosecutors wanted, they tried to get intentional harassment and intentional harm. Intentional harassment, intentional harm on Jonathan Majors. But the jury's like, no, that didn't happen. With all the evidence we got, nothing was intentional. So they charged him with unintentional, which means that, like as they said in the article, he only get like 1 year in prison. But they said he by basically forcing her into the car and trying to getting his phone back and trying to get pulling away from her to try to get away from her. All that was unintentional harm, meaning that everything he did physically wasn't intentionally to harm her. As they can see, he was just trying to get away from her. But because she did get harmed, they said it's unintentional. I didn't know this was a thing, but apparently, if you trying to get something back from your ex or whoever, and you use force to do it, but you're not using force to actually harm them, to beat them, to hurt them, but you're just using force to get something back and to get away, that could be seen as unintentional harm. So that's how they charged him with unintentional harm. And then the harassment was even in itself unintentional. They said he unintentionally harassed her. So he baked everything, like him finding her and him being around her, I guess, after the incident is unintentional harassment. Even though he found her and called 911 to make sure she was okay, but yet it all blew up in his face. I think this is crazy. I really do. I think this is crazy. I think this is very crazy. The man didn't do anything but try to get away from her. We don't know what happened in the car. We really don't, but we do know that he did try to force her into the car and then force his phone from her and pulled away from her and ran. I still stand on that. I stand by it. That damn run he did was funny as hell. The way he ran from her was funny as hell. But you could clearly see she was intoxicated because she was so focused on knowing who texted him that she didn't even realize she was about to get smacked by a truck. Like, so it's like, clearly these people got problems. In the end of the day, we could all agree on one thing. Both her and Jonathan Majors got problems. This is unfortunate. And like I said before, not the body ain't even cold yet when it comes to the verdict. And Disney said, yep, you're fired. They fired Jonathan Majors. He will no longer be Kang the Conqueror. There's already been reports that they're going to recast him or go into the direction of making Dr. Doom the next major villain instead of... So, if they do that, I think they're going to bring in the Fantastic Four earlier than they expected. Or at least allude to them earlier than expected. But from what I'm hearing, they're going to just recast them. And then, instead of... They saying they're going to recast him and not center around him, but have him lead into Dr. Doom being the next major Avengers villain. But that's all I got, man. This was crazy. I wish Jonathan Majors all the best. And he could come back from his... Robert Downey Jr. could come back from this. Could come back from his legal troubles. Jonathan Majors can too. But yeah, I hope both people get some help. Much needed. And I hope he's not abusing Megan Good, because that is a beautiful black woman, and she's standing by him, even though it's allegations that he's being abused. That was my thing. But if you want me to do a separate video about him being released from Marvel, I will. But I just wanted to take this time to do that to share my thoughts on this whole situation. But you let me know in the comments what you thought. And if you enjoy my reaction to this will be a kind of like a reaction. So if you enjoy my reaction to this, you know what to do. You hit this button right here. Bam! Tricked you. With all of my Season 3 reactions. And if you enjoy my videos so much and want to support the channel, you know what to do, guys. Hit those buttons. As always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. Now we're going to get to some happy reactions. Peace.